Good morning. Today is the 19th of October of 2023, and what you're looking at, is the mighty Mississippi. So we left yesterday morning at 8:30, and we pulled for about 6 hours. And we came to, my destination was Keokuk, Iowa, but they didn't have any nice campgrounds. And I found one across the river in Illinois, Warsaw, Illinois. Warsaw, Illinois was founded in 1812, but it's kind of going into decay, at least in the center of town. So there's some historical things in and around Keokuk, Iowa. Keokuk, Iowa happens to be the most southern point in Iowa. And I could be wrong, but I think Iowa is the only state that has rivers bordering it on the east and the west, totally bordering it. So without further ado, I want to show you the next thing. It's just up the road from me. So this is a abandoned building that's, I like it. It's got good architecture. And as you can see, it's not being used. It's just falling apart. And I have no idea what it was, what they used it for. But it was built in 1866, and it's very, very close to the river, so I suspect it was some kind of factory. And I looked in the window on the first floor, and notice it's built with stone, up to the first floor. I looked in that window, and it was just a bunch of pillars holding up the floor above it, and so on. So you can see it's got a stairway from the top very floor into the second floor and third floor, and there's one on the other side too. So it's just kind of a shame that this thing is falling apart, but so is Warsaw, and that's where we're going to go next. Hello, Georgie girl. So it says on that building UFO, or UFC, sorry, and it stands for USA Farmers Co-op. And this is a huge grain elevator, and this is not seen one of these up close. There is a barge that they're filling up with corn right there. And yesterday there was a constant line of trucks that were dumping their grain. You see that looks like a square right there underneath the silo. So they were dumping grain in there, one right after another. And then they were putting it out here on that barge. I don't know how long the barge is, but this elevator is right at the end of Main Street in Warsaw. So this is downtown Warsaw. I think I got to turn to the left here. It has a little restaurant, 2 bars right here.
It's not more than 2 bars.
And a lot of stuff is just boarded up and closed.
Yeah, it's a dying town. What a shame.
Yeah. There. There's the Farmers State Bank. So in the distance is Keokuk, Iowa. You can just see that there's a smokestack sticking up. But what we've come here to see and find out what this is a monument to somebody. And we're going to find out all about it.
See what this says?
Okay, and there's a big rock with something on it too. So let me come over here.
Forts on the bluff.
Why don't you read it?
Much of the nation's history has unfolded along the Mississippi River. During the War in 1812, this location provided a commanding view of the river and was the site of a strategically important fort. So there was a fort here at one time. The first defense, the region's first fort, was built just south of here in 1812 when the United States was at war with Great Britain, named Fort Johnson. It was built by Major Zachary Taylor, who would become a war hero and United States President. Fort Johnson was abandoned after 1 year. In 1814, Zachary Taylor, now general, returned to the area and built Fort Edwards. The fort protected the traffic on the Mississippi, controlled the American Indians that were allied with the British. Troops were stationed at Fort Edwards until 1824. The city of Warsaw can trace its roots to Fort Johnson and Fort Edwards.
So it's kind of sad that they never, renovated the fort, and other than just give us this spot. They could have done the foundations, So I'm gonna walk out here. And what I'm disappointed, I expected to see a lot of traffic, barge traffic on the river, and I haven't seen any. So you're looking on the other side of the river. There is the Des Moines River from Iowa. The Des Moines River starts up in Minnesota, runs diagonally across Iowa, and dumps in the Mississippi just below Keokuk. And so that's why Iowa's got like a little point hanging down right over, because the border is the Des Moines River, and you see right across here, that's Missouri. And up there, let me see if I can get steady. Okay, and we'll do this. There, that is Iowa and Keokuk, right over there. Now, I want to show you something else from here. So this plaque says, erected September 1914 to commemorate the establishment of Fort Edwards, built by Major Zachary Taylor, 3rd U.S. Infantry, September 1814, abandoned in July 1824. 10 years. And then there's this black rock. And I'm going to see what's on that. So it's just a monument to the members of the U.S. military who served at Fort Edwards from its construction in 1816 until the close of operations 1824. And they put that there in 2013. All right. So that guy just came and turned around and left. Hey, the sun is trying to pop out. Couple things more to see in Warsaw, and then we're going to go up to a town called Nivu, Illinois, and it's very famous. So that's City Hall of Warsaw, and then we have this building, and this says the Little Brick Boyhood School of John Hay. I haven't a clue who John Hay was. I'll have to look him up. But it's nice that they've kept this building. Let's go look. Well, that says the boyhood home. Anyway, what's this say here? Oh, I'm not sure. It says 28. Oh, and it's got the monument on it. All right, so now we're going to go to the old distillery. And we'll just turn around here. So the campground is $20 a night. And it's not really worth $20 a night. But we do have water, electricity. But I have to come into town and dump when I leave, which is not a problem. So we just drove a little ways, and this is called the Warsaw Brewing Corporation. And now it's a brew pub and a restaurant, and it only opens on Thursday, Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays. But at one point, you can see it was very large, and it was a distillery. And there it says the bottling house. So would like to see across the river where the Des Moines River comes out. And I think it says the old brewery, no, the old distillery road, it's right there. And I'm pretty sure if I go on the other side of the river, right there, that's where the Des Moines River comes out. Anyway, I'm going to go there. There's just nobody on the river. Keokuk has dam and locks on the Mississippi, number 19. I don't know how many there are, but so I have no idea what those wooden things, maybe they're pontoons to go into the river. Some kind of a floating dock. I think that's what it is. And it looks like this is electrical outlets, and you could camp here if you wanted to. But I don't see any water, so I don't know. Anyway, interesting building. I'd like to go inside and see what it looks like. But I don't think we will. So we're driving along the edge of the Mississippi River, and it's really a beautiful drive. And we came to this historic sign, and it tells about how Illinois became the state that it was. So it first was explored by the French trader Louis Joliet and Father Jacques Marquette, and because they are credited with exploring the Mississippi in the 1673. And then that area traded hands between the French and English, and eventually Illinois became the first state to enter to join with the 13 colonies. So that's kind of confusing, I suppose. But anyway, what is interesting, in this area, there was the Mississippi Rapids. And they couldn't get the steamships through. They had to stop and unload whatever they had and go around the rapids. And then they decided to blast a channel through the rapids, and that was in 1866. But no, that was in the late 1830s. My mistake. And then that proved too costly and ineffective. So then they dug a channel around it in 1866. And then later on, I don't know what time, they put a dam and a lock at Keokuk, Iowa. Well, we'll show you that later on in today. So we're going to the town of Nauvoo, N-A-U-V-O-O. Nauvoo? It's the Mormon city of the 1840s. And it's south of Dixon Mounds, ancient Indian burial. I don't know where that is. But if it's really close, we'll go there too. So let me get up close here. Another historical sign. I'll read it later. So you are here. We are at Nauvoo. And it says that there's a stone arch bridge here. And so they've got I didn't realize this. They have a road completely along the Mississippi River. So it says Nauvoo was once the site of Ossaw and Fox Village. After the Indians moved west of the Mississippi, promoters attempted to develop town sites here, but the marshy bottomlands attracted few settlers. In 1839, the Mormon prophet Joseph Smith came to the town, then called Commerce, as a home for his followers who had been driven from Missouri. The Mormons named the community Nauvoo, said to mean beautiful place, and obtained a special charter from the Illinois legislature, which gave the city government its own courts, militia, university, and all other governmental powers not prohibited by the federal and state constitutions. I never knew that. Mormon converts from all parts of America and Europe soon swelled the population to about 15,000, making Nauvoo one of the largest cities in Illinois by 1845. But some of the Mormons, as well as their gentile neighbors, began to resent the civil and religious authority of the Mormon leaders, and frictions in the area grew severe. When the Nauvoo City Council had an anti-Mormon newspaper destroyed, the Mormon leaders were arrested and jailed at Carthage. There, on June 27, 1844, an armed mob shot and killed Joseph Smith and his brother, Hiram. Conflict between the Mormons and their neighbors continued until 1846, when the Mormons completed their exodus from the state. In 1849, Atenecabay followers, the Icarians, came to Nauvoo to practice their form of religious communism, but dissensions soon weakened the colony. Their experiment lasted less than 10 years. So we're going to try and find this little bridge.